Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are finally back. I know it's been a while, but we're back. We're going to be doing this on a consistent basis. We'll be talking wrestling for an hour on our Monday Night Raw review. Okay? And we'll be doing SmackDown and other episodes of other wrestling shows, as well as football and etc. So make sure you're subscribed right here while we talk football, wrestling, and other sports. Basketball will be here in another month and a half. But yes, tonight we had a crazy Monday Night Raw ending, which they pulled the trigger on Bad Girl Bayley is what I'm calling her right now. Bad Girl Bayley just went heel. Sasha Banks came out to the main event, which featured Becky, Sasha, tag teaming against Alexa and Nikki Cross. And I'm not really too fond of the Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss tag team. They don't seem like they're mixing too well. I just don't. I think it seemed like one of those pushed together tag teams that it just doesn't seem to be working out. Well, anyways, Sasha interfered in the main event and hit Becky with the chair and then tossed the chair to Bayley. Bayley made the look. She gave the look like she was unsure at first. Then all of a sudden she started hitting Becky with the chair, and the crowd went wild. In fact, it was probably the hottest the crowd was all night. And I find it hard. The WWE audience is fickle because we just watched it, and that's a different crowd, the American UK, two different crowds. But the NXT UK that I watched Saturday was like a wrestling crowd that I want to see. The wrestling crowd that I watched at AEW Saturday night was a wrestling crowd that makes the show more liver. Watching Raw tonight, it seemed like no matter, because Raw wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great neither. We had a lot of good wrestling in it, but the simple fact, it seemed like the audience couldn't help make it better. Like when you watch the other shows, what help makes the show better is the audience is into everything. So, good ending to the show, surprise ending, and it wasn't predictable. Which, in my opinion, is typically a good thing when it comes to wrestling, unless it's just a total shit fest. So now we got Bayley going heel versus Sasha Banks, and versus Becky Lynch. So this is going to be interesting coming into this next pay-per-view in 2 weeks. We had today, Monday Night Raw started off with, was it Seth Rollins? I'm trying to recall. I believe it was Seth Rollins. Okay? It was Braun and Seth. Tag team champions. They came out. And now I have to recall because the beginning of the show was okay. They were getting ready to sign the contracts versus Bobby. I'm so used to calling it Robert Roode now. Robert and Dolph Ziggler. And the OC came out and interfered, and they all did like a beat up thing up on the Oh, excuse me for a second. I had to grab my drink. Sorry about that. Now back to where I was at. They all attacked Seth and Braun and did all their beat up, the jump gang, whatever, blah blah blah, which led to a Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman tag team match versus the OC, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Now, I don't like for the simple fact they just kind of pushed the OC out of the tag team contenders because this was weird. The OC came out complaining that they didn't get tag team shots. But they helped Dolph and Bobby Roode. Like, what, in my opinion, the better booking would have been, instead of them, now they should have helped them beat Braun and Seth up. Obviously, Braun's a big boy. You know, they beat him up, whatever, blah. But what they should have did is the OC was then turn around and jump Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. I'm not calling him Robert Roode. I've been calling this motherfucker Bobby Roode for years. I'm not just changing up all of a sudden. Now, what they should have did was jump Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, and in my opinion, they should have booked a three-way tag team match, including the OC. That's the booking I would have done with this. But hey, this is WWE that we're talking about here. So then you had the tag team match, which was just another blah, blah, blah. Nothing really to talk about, just to be honest. A lot of the shit that happened, in my opinion, WWE needs to make a lot of these matches still count, which it still doesn't feel like it mattered. A lot of the shit that happened tonight didn't feel like it mattered. Then, of course, the OC loses, which basically threw them out of title contending. Which WWE at one point seemed like they were trying to rejuvenate this damn tag team division, but it's just gone to shit. They need to take a little bit of notes from AEW. AEW was showing you how to work the tag team division because all of AEW's tag team matches this past weekend were good matches. They were enjoyable matches. They didn't feel like filler. They were really good tag matches. And WWE for some reason feels like they just don't give a damn about tag team wrestling. And for the OC to re-sign the next 5 years in WWE, good luck to the Bullet Club. I think they should have carried their asses back over with the boys. But you had Charlie was the interview lady. But Cedric Alexander was backstage doing the interview with Charlie backstage, and he got jumped by the OC, which nothing much to really speak of. They did the Too Sweet sign in the back, and nothing much. Then you had Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode versus Hawkins and Ryder in a tag match. It seems like they're throwing Hawkins and Ryder back to the back of the tag team bus. They got an easy win. It wasn't really much to speak about neither there. That's the quality of matches. When I watched the NXT, AEW, I can speak of quality of matches. I enjoyed each and every match. I had a hard time picking out match of the night. Now, when I watch Raw tonight, it's blah, 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 fart. Literally. Until you maybe get something good, which happened at the end finally. So maybe they're working their way up with Heyman running Raw. They're maybe getting this shit back on the tracks the right way. But it's still a lot of blah, 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 farts. A lot of it is. Lacey Evans looked fine as hell tonight. Her and Natty had their little match. Natty came out and jumped her first. Lacey Evans got the 1, 2, 3, but not much of anything to speak of neither besides Lacey Evans looked fine in a mother, and she did. And then you had the recaps, more recaps, and a whole bunch of dumb shit for a bit and all that. Becky was going off with Sasha and blah, 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 and more blah, 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 blah. Then you had Baron Corbin versus Cedric Alexander, which the reason why they want to make... See, WWE has this weak way of 50-50 booking, where in the way to make Cedric Alexander look weak against Baron Corbin was to have the OC beat him up, so that way him jobbing to Baron Corbin was he was injured before the match, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? But again, why can't they just find a jobber or Heath Slater, somebody like that? They need to be saving guys like Cedric Alexander to help continue building up shows like 205 Live, to make your cruiserweights look as good as New Japan makes their cruiserweights. Like when you look at Coda, when you look at Will Ospreay, and a few other their actual cruiserweights. When you see them go against their main event talent, people don't know who's going to win because they're not jobbed the fuck out. We had a recap of SmackDown again tonight, the Daniel Bryan situation and all that dumb shit. And then blah blah more shit. You had the jobbers. You had some jobbers tonight. The Viking Raiders killed some jobbers tonight. I still believe they wasted moving the Viking Raiders up too fast. They still should be at NXT. They don't have the tag team division together yet. They don't even know what the fuck they're doing with the Viking Raiders. They're better off keeping them in NXT right now. So that's the end I got to speak of. Oh, one of the motherfucking jobbers looked hilarious as fuck. He literally looked like a pizza man. Like, I'm dead serious. Like a bald, spot-headed pizza man. You had Samoa Joe and Ricochet. The winner advanced into the semifinals for the King of the Ring tonight. Good match. That's when I spoke of good wrestling tonight. I thought it was good wrestling, but the crowd didn't seem to be as into the wrestling. And I blame that more on the WWE audience. Or it could be the flow of WWE events to where the audience just isn't into it, because by the time you get to a good match, you're just not into it. But good match. They both pinned each other. So I didn't like the way how they ended it. They kind of, I don't know. They just should have had a GM or someone come out and do it after the match. Anyway, they both pinned each other. The referee was like, we're not making the decision. WWE is going to decide later. Joe and Ricochet did the puzzled face look and all that shit. The ref left the match. And then close to the end of the show, the referee said, well, Baron Corbin was backstage complaining to the ref, speaking how he was going to get a bye. And the ref said, no, it's going to be a triple threat match, Ricochet, Joe, and Corbin. I think that's actually interesting. I think it'd be cool if they let Ricochet go over here. Then you had a Firehouse promo, which was pretty dope. The Fiend won. And blah, blah, blah. You know, same old shit when it comes to the puppets and shit like that, right? Then you had a Rey Mysterio promo. I'm not really feeling the Rey Mysterio. He lost it all. He lost his confidence and all that shit. I'm really not feeling that shit. I just ain't. I'm just not feeling it. Then you had Cesaro after a hot-ass Saturday match at NXT UK. They had him sit out and job to The Miz. Instead of having The Miz beat somebody else, you take Cesaro, who just got hot, and you got the crowd behind this fella. You bring him on Monday Night Raw 2 days later to job him out to The Miz. Vince, Kennedy, McMahon, well, we got to blame this one on Heyman, if that's what they say he's booking this shit. That would be stupid. Why would you bring Cesaro, who had a hell of a match Saturday, to come on Monday night to job out when you should have had Cesaro match tonight against somebody else to win a match to keep the momentum up? It's this weird booking that WWE does to keep putting the goddamn foot in their goddamn mouth. It's weird. So they had Cesaro would pick up the match there. Then, like I said, we had the main event, which I was kind of surprised they had this at the main event. The tag team match between Nikki, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, and Becky Lynch, which we talked about at the beginning. I didn't really like the match. I really feel like Alexa and Nikki doesn't mix well. They need to let Alexa go back to solo. Let Nikki find herself as well, go solo. But the end of the show was very good, in my opinion. Having Sasha just sit around waiting for the match, and her and Bayley set this whole thing up. So I'll be waiting for next week's Raw to see what conversation these two had as far as how long these two had set this whole thing up. So Bayley is now heel. I'm wondering, are they going to make Bayley change her hair color, or is she going to come out plain old Becky? Now, I know she'll change her entrance music. That'd be pretty stupid for them not to. But it'd be cool to see if Bayley, all these damn B's, Becky, Bayley, Banks, damn. But you get my point. be interesting to see what they do with her change of gimmick here, because it was getting stale, and they were eventually about to John Cena her. So instead of John Cena her, they gave her the pole. But yeah, shout out to AEW for hiring the first the first female referee to main event a pay per view. They hired her. Tonight's Raw, I would give a 2.5 out of 5. Nothing spectacular, not poor, but not great neither. The end made it anything. If anything, I would have gave it a 2 maybe. But yeah, the end gave it the extra push for a 5 for me. We got Tuesday night SmackDown tomorrow night, which we will be doing another review for that as well. I guess wrestling news is Kenta got injured again. That sucks. Kenta can't bite the injury bug. Kylie Ray quit AEW. She asked for her release. Casey Catazero, I believe I said her name correct. She asked for her release from WWE. So you had 2 female wrestlers ask for their release in recent. LAX is going under a name change. They'll be signing to AEW. We're waiting to see what their name's going to be called. AEW announced Full Gear, their next pay-per-view for November 9th. I believe it's in Baltimore. I have to go back and catch up to Ring of Honor from yesterday. I have a few things I need to catch up on because I want to start doing shows of the indies, the other shows that matter too, not just Raw, SmackDown, and AEW, because I'm a wrestling fan. I like all the wrestling. Macho Man Randy Savage's brother Lanny Poffo is set for a Ring of Honor Glory by Honor appearance. Stone Cold Steve Austin is set for next week Monday Night Raw. They're just throwing Stone Cold on Raw for ratings now because they need it desperately. They don't have anybody in the main roster, who's able to bring them ratings. So continually bringing back legends is Vince's remedy instead of making quality wrestling, which all wrestling fans are asking for, is quality freaking wrestling. I'm going to be watching that Ring of Honor CMLL Global Wars pay-per-view. That should be good. The Elite dropped a new episode as usual as they do every Monday. I need to catch up. If y'all not subscribed to Being the Elite, make sure y'all subscribe to that. That's a good wrestling channel. Wrestling news, Up Up Down Down hits 2 million subscribers on YouTube. That's pretty dope. Shout out to Xavier Woods. That's pretty cool. He started that channel from the scratch on his own, and WWE helped picked it up. I had time to think, but I wanted to rewatch AEW over the weekend again before I really discussed what I thought was the match of the weekend. And I didn't get to finish watching NXT UK, so I don't think it's fair for me to discuss match of the week yet. We'll leave that for another conversation. If I get to catch up before SmackDown tomorrow, then I'll speak on it then. But I don't think it's fair for me to call anything match of the week yet when I haven't watched all of wrestling, and it was overabundance of wrestling this weekend. So I'm going to keep that at a minimum for now. But I'm glad wrestling's back in full effect. Hopefully WWE gets their shit together here, because we definitely need them to get their shit together here so we can have a real wrestling war. I'm excited and glad the wrestling's back, and I'm more focused this year to stay on these wrestling topics more than ever. Okay, so when we have news, we'll be breaking wrestling news, wrestling rumors, etc., etc. You guys make sure, I just recently changed my Twitter handle to Zone Talks Live. It is in the description box, so it's easier to find it, easier to find me while searching. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Make sure you're subscribed to here as well as the gaming channels as well. We just finished playing the WCW series of Fall Brawl 1997. We're doing a continuation up to the end of WCW. Then we're going to be following back into ECW classics, and then until continuation of that, and then back to WWE and etc. But shout out to those who came over to the gaming room and enjoyed in the chat room earlier. Thank you guys. Y'all give me 1 second. I need to use the bathroom. All right, we're back. We're back. Sorry for the break. But sometimes you just got to let it go. Now back to this Monday Night Raw. As much as I'm a Bullet Club guy, I have to be honest in saying the WWE doesn't make Bullet Club or the club or the OC or whatever the hell they feel like calling them, a sandwich club. They don't know how to make them believable, in my opinion. I've been watching the Bullet Club pretty much for the entirety of his existence. And I always watch Bullet Club been able to get a lot of these guys over or make what they're doing believable as far as the Clique, the Bullet Club. I think the reason WWE's problem is everything in WWE looks staged. Even when they jumped Cedric Alexander in the backstage, it looked like they were sitting on a movie set. Like, just everything about WWE is too damn staged. And for them to be a club, they're not moving like a club. They're just like wrestling buddies or something. I don't know. They need to be a little bit more like how Bullet Club is, how Aces and Eights is. And a lot of people don't give them credit because at the time TNA was a little garbage at that time, right? But Aces and Eights was actually kind of the originality to what Bullet Club is. I believe Bullet Club took pieces and bits from the Aces and Eights. But Bullet Club did make it better and sold a hell of a lot more merch. But WWE, for some reason, is having a hard time making Bullet Club or the original Sandwich Club or whatever the hell you want to call them believable in my eyes. And I'm trying to stay behind my boys' backs because I'm always with Bullet Club. But WWE is making me struggle with it. Machine Gun Carl Anderson, for those who do not know, was putting on some of the best matches over in New Japan. I have not seen even a sniff of him putting on a great match in WWE. Like, it's almost like they don't care. Gallows, as a big guy for years, has been underrated. He's been totally used in WWF. What was he? Festus? I was about to call him Fetus. Festus. Under CM Punk, he was underused as well. But when he got out to Japan, he was utilized a little bit better because he wasn't even really utilized as well when he was with Doc as the Aces and Eights. But now in WWE with this tag team division going on, it's almost not even about, like when you watch AEW, it's not about the wrestling. I watch those young guys, Private Party and can't. If anyone knows, they can say it. Whatever. I just can't remember off the top of my head. I watched their wrestling this weekend. I watched Chucky T, the Best Friends, and the other guys, the Black Order, and etc. There was 3 different tag team matches: the Lucha Bros, and the Young Bucks. And I watched all 3 matches and watched how each team got to develop what tag team is in a match, the psychology, and they got to show off, showmanship, put on a match, time. And then you watch in WWE, it's just like 2 guys come out, they may tag once or twice, but there's really no care to any goddamn thing. And I really wish they would change that shit, because I remember as a kid, I grew up with the tag teams with Legion of Doom, Road Warriors, Rock and Roll, excuse me, the Rockers, the Heart Foundation, tag teams that when they got into the ring, they looked like they went in there to kick ass together. Okay? And it doesn't seem to be that way in today's wrestling. It's too much of this thrown together tag team bullshit for once. Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler, and the line Seth Braun. And this has been going on for a long time, because it seems like Vince feels like it's more important to throw the tag team belts on makeshift tag teams than to keep them on Scott Dawson and the other fella for longevity, or the Usos, or the Bullet Club for longevity. Oh, they'll let you test the water for a week, maybe a month. But these teams no longer get long-term runs anymore. And I think it doesn't do these tag teams justice. Because when we were children, the reason why we knew the Road Warriors were the shit, because nobody beat them. It took a whole long time. Same with these other tag teams. They weren't overnight. They stuck around. They kicked ass all around. They took Sanity, perfect example. They built this group up, Sanity, from NXT. And to see what Sanity has become now, they're no longer together. So they do these build-ups of tag teams. I'm looking at the young guys now, Street Profits. And all I see is New Day / Crime Time / it's always with the brothers that they have to make all these brothers coony, as they say. Silly. Those brothers are talented. I watched Montez and Angelo wrestle. We don't need another New Day and another group of another group that still exists. It feels like Vince feels like that's the only way he can get a group of black males over. It's weird. You have a dominant athlete in MMA and in wrestling and in college, Bobby Lashley. Impact Wrestling knows how to use Bobby Lashley. How come WWE doesn't know how to use Bobby Lashley? I mean, you can champion Brock Lesnar as being a dominant MMA collegiate main eventer, but you can't do the same for the likes of Bobby Lashley. Yeah, we know Bobby can't talk. Brock don't talk neither. All you had to do was continue giving him the mouthpiece that he had with Leo Rush. I thought it was a good pairing in my opinion. Or give him another mouthpiece, because I know they had problems with Leo backstage. But Bobby Lashley should be main eventing as well. When you look at WWE and I look at Raw, I'm going, who are your main eventers? Brock, part-time. Seth. Is Seth really selling tickets? Seth is a forced main eventer. He deserves it. But as far as we go to main eventers that people are dying to go see, I don't believe it's Seth Rollins. And I'm not knocking him. He's a great wrestler. But I don't think he's a must-see wrestler where everyone's going out to buy tickets for him. So WWE needs to figure out what they need to do in order to make things more appealing, as well as appealing in the ring. Because they have the talent. With all the hours of TV time they have, 3 hours of TV time. I don't understand why we're not getting quality booking. Now, I'm kind of glad I haven't seen the fuckery of what is the 24/7 championship because they have made that worthless already. Glad they kept that off tonight. They're probably going to show that on SmackDown for R-Truth, which is okay by me as long as they're not doing it too much. But they took a belt that could have been something, and they totally made it clowny, goofy, and really stupid because you could have did that to bring up some of your younger talent to make them just a little bit more important. Like you're doing some things that are okay, where you're at an airport or something. You got wrestler meets. It's a 24/7 title, so you can meet anywheres and blah blah blah. But the 24/7 is the R-Truth and what's the other goddamn fella that came from Impact Wrestling? It's basically their story. You have a whole roster full of goddamn wrestlers. And all we see with the 24/7 belt is R-Truth acting another black wrestler being silly. Weird. But anyways, R-Truth is well deserving of his runs. I think R-Truth has been underrated for years. Impact knew how to. There you go again. Another example. Bobby Lashley, R-Truth. Two wrestlers who WWE took serious. Impact took serious, and they made them real champions. They made Ron Killings look like a real champion at that time. He got back to WWE. Ron Killings has disappeared, and now we know him as R-Truth and the silly guy, the laughable guy. And don't get me wrong, R-Truth has had some incredibly funny moments. I've laughed at a lot of them. But we also know Ron Killings can put it down in that ring. He deserves to sometimes maybe have that IC title for real. Maybe have a run at that championship the same way Kofi did. Because one thing R-Truth can do is entertain. And he can hold the audience. So I don't understand why they would force feed us guys who can't hold the audience when we have one right there. Now, Monday Night Raw seems to be getting back a little bit on track. But Vince need to grab his cojones. Because one thing that I recognize over the weekend is AEW is the new attitude era. AEW is a new attitude area, whether you like it or not. Because the freedom. When you watch that pay-per-view over there the other night, if you have not, you need to go watch and catch up on it. If you were just a WWE fanatic and that's all I watch is WWE, I don't know what to tell you. Because what you missed over there, you missed some hardcore wrestling with that triple threat with Jimmy Havoc, Janela, and the other fella. If I'm missing names, it's only because I'm talking and thinking. I'm just skipping names. Nothing to do with anything else. But I'm going blank, drawing blanks. But you missed some hardcore wrestling. You had good women's matches. You had great tag team matches, in my opinion. You had some good matches as well. The Kenny Omega Pac match was good. Cody Rhodes, I'm going to tell you right now, Cody Rhodes is really winning me over. And Cody's becoming more and more one of my favorite wrestlers of this era, and he's not getting props. Why? I don't know. I don't know if it's because he has WWE stench on him. I don't know if he has the, what's his name, Stardust? It was Stardust, right? The Stardust stench. I don't know what it is. But if you look back at Cody Rhodes' track record, and I know some people are saying this is supposed to be the Raw review, you got 20 minutes at the beginning. There isn't an hour of Raw to talk about tonight, okay? Now, Cody Rhodes, in my opinion, let's get back to where I was going with Cody Rhodes. Even if you look back to the paper bag stuff, you look back to even the Stardust, Cody Rhodes got a lot of that stuff over. It was Vince's booking and how they booked him that wouldn't allow him to actually push him even further. Now, what I'm seeing now is almost, this Rhodes family is genius. Dusty was a genius. Goldust is a genius, underrated or not. Goldie is the man. And you're seeing it go right through the bloodline with Cody. Now, you had a hell of a main event that we seen the other night. We were live for this. If you missed it, go back and watch the live show of the All Out. We were 4.5 hours there, and I was enjoyed all 4.5 hours of that pay-per-view. Now, I did go back to go watch the replay of the opening because I remember I missed the beginning of the women's the Casino Royale. Now, that did start off a little bit botchy and slow. But see, wrestling fans are tough. You have to understand. And not giving AEW an excuse, AEW is a new business. A lot of the wrestlers that went into the Battle Royal were new amongst each other. Not new in wrestling, new amongst each other. It's not like they do house shows together and they all work together, so they're used together. So, of course, there was going to be some mishaps and things not gelling, and you know what I mean? But they got the overall point over to the matter. And it was an opener. So they did a good job of not putting that on the pay-per-view because maybe they knew it wasn't going to go over that well. There was going to be problems. So they put it on the opener. So that was smart by them. Now, for the WWE crybabies out there in the world, I'm a fan of both. But I call people out, period. And the WWE crybabies sat around and complained, and AEW is horrible because of one mishaps in the pay-per-view for the most part. Because when I watch the pay-per-view this Saturday and then you go back and watch Raw, I'll be damned to hear a WWE fan, not a wrestling fan. Wrestling fans can admit to whoever. Us wrestling fans know bullshit from bullshit, and we call it all. But WWE fans feel like WWE can't do no wrong, and AEW, which started, if it has a hiccup, oh, it's over for AEW. Vince McMahon's about to buy them too. AEW right now, as far as the product that they're putting in the ring right now, matches, come on. WWE's not putting in that product. Even the women's matches have been good. Now, somebody's got to help me understand this. AEW did something that kind of confused me. I thought the Black Order had a match at a pay-per-view, the last pay-per-view, not the one that just passed, but the one before that, which gave them a bye into that tournament, the tag team tournament. Then they announced that they fought again for a bye in the tag team tournament, so I'm confused. Was that a match for the bye? Or a buy for a buy. I don't know. Someone's going to have to explain that to me. But I'm interested in seeing what they do with this tag team tournament. The women's title. And if AEW is going to announce a secondary title, which I'm sure they will, but what are they going to do? I can't wait. We have SmackDown coming up tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. We will be doing a SmackDown review as well. So I hope those of you, we have you here as well. And don't be shy to hit the chat room and get this shit popping. SmackDown tomorrow. Hopefully we get some more Viper. Kofi. I actually like that rivalry. See, that's a rivalry that makes sense. Because it was a long build-up. They built it up. It was years in the making. SmackDown's going to be moved to Fox soon, so goddamn wrestling is going to be crazy, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I was listening to the interview with Tony Khan did after the pay-per-view the other night, and that guy is hard to dislike, man. He seems like a cool boss. He seems like he's really behind and supportive of those guys, man. But I can't wait. Looks like we got Hangman versus Pac rematch. I don't know who Jericho's going to take on. My guess, My guess was going to be Pac, but they're going to. I just said Pac and Adam Page. My guess would be Cody. My guess would be Cody Rhodes. That's all I can think right now. I don't know if Moxley's going to be back in time. But if not, it'll be Moxley. Jericho, maybe. Don't know. Either way it goes, I'm looking forward to whatever AEW is doing. And can't wait. AEW starts October 2nd. That is a month from now exactly. On TNT. I can't wait. Monday night is going to, I believe they already announced, Monday night, or NXT's getting ready to make an announcement for that NXT Wednesday night too. So WWE is already countering AEW. They're already talking about putting some bigger names on the NXT roster. In my opinion, what they should do is bring back guys like Nakamura for NXT. Bring back Andrade. Bring back some of the guys that they moved up from NXT back to NXT for a bit so they can have some more TV time. Like the tag team, AOP. Move AOP back to NXT. We haven't seen AOP in months. And they need them to do something. But it's going to get interesting again. Bayley, Sasha Banks, back at it again. They already got 3 of the horsewomen heel. Charlotte, or Charlotte, as Becky says. Becky, the way she talks is so fucking funny. Charlotte. Charlotte. Come here, Charlotte. I'm the man, Charlotte. Charlotte. And I'm still looking forward to see Ronda's going to come back soon, I think. I wonder if they're going to call up Shayna Baszler and Marina and the other one, because I think this is a slow build up to something bigger. At some point, they are going to do that horsewomen versus horsewomen. It's just when are they going to pull the trigger on it, when the time is going to be right between all of the 8 females. But it needs to happen. That's something that I mean, maybe it's just my fanism in wrestling that I want to see happen. But I want it to happen soon. Until then, I hope Bayley keeps hitting Becky with more chairs. Because it was refreshing to see Bayley do something different. I don't want to see Bayley in those damn inflatable balloon dummy thingies anymore. It is boring. I don't want to see that anymore. Hopefully this is the dawn of a new attitude era in wrestling. Because AEW is stepping up the ball. Vince just needs to let the boys go wild and Raw. Look, they don't have to go extreme. It never has to go back to what ECW was, in my opinion. A lot of injuries and people got hurt that was unnecessarily hurt. But as far as some storylines or the way of the psychology of the rivalries and matches, they need to come back. Now, I know there's some storylines we can never get back. They can't never touch them again because of sponsors and blah, 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 blah. But hey, here's my question to Vincent Kennedy McMahon. If your rivalry who you're trying to compete with, AEW, can do things of interest, why can't you? Because AEW has made a lot of their no-names interesting. Like, I'll see some of these WWE fanatics go, oh, that's an ex-WWE person. And you sit and look at the AEW roster, and it's full of a bunch of guys that are household names. And in the last year, AEW is making them names. Like, when they come out, everybody knows them. Everybody's cheering for them. Can you say the same for WWE? When Orange Cassidy comes out, everybody goes crazy. When the best friends do that hug, everybody goes crazy. When SCU goes SCU, everybody goes SCU. Everybody, AEW's audience is behind everything that they're doing right now. Even the small thing that they did, which was funny, where Peter Avalon threw down the books. They were doing the Kofi King of the Ring, not King of the Ring, Royal Rumble thing. I thought that was funny and clever. Even though you knew she was copying Kofi, but what they did, it made it original. Books, part of her gimmick, it made sense. Just seems like a lot more passion in the rest of the wrestling. New Japan. I watched that whole G1 Classic that I'm going to watch again. And the wrestling that we were privy to this year, this summer, I don't understand why wrestling fans would even complain about wrestling. This year has been awesome. We started off, let's be real, last year's G1. Then you got all in, right? Boom, boom, boom. Then we had to wait a bit for AEW to kick in here. We had to suffer through WWE. But we had a little bit of taste testers in New Japan and a few other stuff. NXT kept us a little cool. But once AEW opened the gates back up, boy, it's literally been wrestling. And I'm really not going to, because there's enough wrestling going on to where WWE is not affecting me to where I go, oh, wrestling's so shitty right now. Then I just don't have to pay attention to shitty ass wrestling. That's why I didn't do a lot of WWE last year, because I didn't want to give y'all shitty ass shows because I was so disinterested in WWE. There was really nothing else to go over. But now we have a full schedule of mother trucking wrestling to go ahead for this whole upcoming year. So we will be doing wrestling damn near daily, whether it's 15 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour, hour. We will be talking wrestling as well as football, okay? We'll be talking football and then NBA basketball when it comes up. And I'm going to try to get into college in the mix and stuff too. I'm just not as knowledgeable as that as I am in the other. So I can't literally just like freestyle and kick ass with college football like I can with the other ones as much. But I will be there shortly. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, overall the night's Raw, I said again, 2.5. Only reason why I give it the extra 5 was because I really liked the ending. I wasn't, I thought they were going to do Bayley crying in the ring. Oh, my friend hurt my friend. I thought they were going to do that dumb shit. So, I got to give them props because I didn't see Bayley whacking Becky with the chair. And she kept hitting her with the chair. And Sasha had, hey, listen. I got to do this. Who was the finest lady on Raw tonight? And I don't mean like all the time. I just mean by appearance and just the yumness. The Raw, that's what we're going to do. Who was the Raw yumness of the night? It's either Sasha Banks or the Southern Belle girl. What's her name? The do. I can't even think of her damn name. And I just said her damn name. God damn it, me. But Lacey Evans or Sasha Banks. You can pick one or the other if you're listening, and tell me in the comment section later on, okay? If you have another suggestion, you can leave that as well. But my picks is between Sasha and Lacey tonight, okay? They were looking fabulous. So I'm going to watch Becky Lynch. I guess Becky Lynch is going to be on Stone Cold's show. I'm going to watch that. The day announced, oh my God. You guys, They're announcing next week's Raw another stupid ass contract signing. Guess who it is this time? Strowman and Rollins. Oh my God. Look. This shit's stupid. Nobody gives a damn about contract signings anymore. It's stupid. Everybody know wrestling is booked. Can they stop with this contract signing bullshit? Because they can't think of any other idea. Good idea to book. We need to keep the rivalry going. What's our you know, I have one. I have one. It always works. It always works. Contract signing. The hell kind of shit is this? I want to read something real quick because I'm looking at something on Twitter that shows me a link. I did not see this real quick. Baron Corbin, what did he say? He mocked who? Okay, no. Baron Corbin was just mocking. I thought he was mocking Jericho. He was just mocking the fans. Anyways, yeah, Baron Corbin always trolling the wrestling fans on the internet. CM Punk's another one. You kind of can't blame them. Look, a lot of the wrestling fans are a bit smarky and pain in the ass as well. That's why I even got to tease them. There's wrestling fans. Then you have groupies. You have groupies, and these are groupies that have groupied to WWE because they feel like when WWE bought the competition, that WWE's the end and be all. So they groupie everything WWE does. Like they don't give a fuck. They want to groupie up against Bayley's pillows, fucking balloon things. Um, Instead of a lot of these people can't look. They're not wrestling fans and don't like things for the quality of wrestling as far as all of wrestling. And a lot of this stuff is younger kids for the most part, teenagers, I believe so. Young, maybe the younger generation. Because I believe the older you get, the more interested you're going to get in the quality of wrestling. You're going to go out there and search for the other companies, the New Japans and such like that, because there's only so much of bad booking in WWE you're going to watch if you're a wrestling fan, right? So the other companies will always do well because wrestling fans are always looking for wrestling. That's why guys like Will Ospreay and others are known amongst wrestling guys. Like when AJ Styles showed up in WWE, you notice how everybody went crazy? Right, exactly. Because he was already known. Wrestling fans was like, oh shit, that's AJ Styles. We know him. We've been watching him. Get what I'm saying? Now, only people who know WWE, who's that? Who ain't James Styles? Anyways, same with Bobby Roode, Joe, and the rest of them. They get more chance. This is how you know that wrestling, like the quality of wrestling does matter. Because when you bring guys like Joe, Rude, AJ, etc., when they show up out of nowhere on NXT, WWE, the crowd goes freaking nuts. Vince is pulling teeth to get guys like Baron Corbin and the WWE factory made guys over. He is literally pulling teeth. But they said that Vince doesn't pay attention to outside wrestling, so hence why he doesn't know what wrestling fans actually like. Because when you're at top of the totem pole, I guess you don't really look under you, I guess. Too busy keeping your shit on top. But the problem is with that is WWE ratings have been falling for years. And they're getting worse, worse, and worse, so bad that Dan Fox and went to Vince McMahon and told Vince to get his shit together or they're going to be a problem. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this was your Monday Night Raw review. And I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 rating. It was a decent Raw. Not poor, not great, but good ending. Which sometimes a very good ending matters because it makes you interested to see what happens next week. We had Bayley finally bite the apple and she has gone heel. Becky is all alone out there, all alone. You guys do me a favor if you enjoyed this. Make sure you hit that share button. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And next time, tell a friend and bring a friend. We will be back next week for Raw. We will be back tomorrow night for SmackDown as well. All right? So thank you guys for your wrestling, for your attention. And this has been the Monday Night Raw Review, episode number 1. We're just going to restart since it's been a while since I did any of this stuff. And let a friend know. Share on your Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. Everything is in the description box below. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? You can go down there and follow my gaming channel. You can go to the Friday Night Podcast where we do our Friday night shows where we just talk about everything and anything Friday nights for an hour. We also have the social media, the Facebook, the Instagram, and the Twitter is down there. And as well, you can go check out the music. So I appreciate you guys tonight, I should say. And I hope this was a good show for you guys. And till tomorrow night, we will see you. Y'all, peace, love, and zone out.